Hi, this is Chris. When creating omnichannel services that are consumed by touchpoints like apps, I think it's really important that they focus on delivering functionality rather than data. In this figure, you can see there are basically two types of services. Those that focus on delivering data and those that focus on delivering a function. The data-oriented services can be queried like a database, and that's really powerful on the server side where you have unlimited bandwidth and processing power. On the other hand, the functional services, they work like a function. So you pass a number of parameters, they do some logic, which includes data operations, and then they just return a consolidated result. There are two ways to implement these services. Either you use a lightweight data format like JSON, or you use something more heavyweight like XML. In the figure, you can see where most of the RESTful services reside, and that's on the data-oriented lightweight services. And you also see that the traditional web services based on SOAP are on the functional side, but more heavyweight. So when a device accesses a service on a low bandwidth, it's really important to do as much as possible with as few calls as possible. And that's really difficult with data-oriented services. Also, some of the services doesn't even map to a relational data model. So let me take an example. If you want, for example, query on prices for flights, which I worked with recently, what you want to do is you want to send all the parameters in one go, like where are you flying from, where you're flying to, what date are you flying out, when are you flying back, is it a one-way or round trip, how many passengers is there, what's the currency, etc. And then you just want a single return of the prices with just the information that you want to show in the user interface. This example also shows that there is a need to implement logic on the data, so that could be validations or calculations. And if you only have data-oriented services, there is basically no other place to put the logic than on the client side in the app. And that really becomes a problem when you have multiple clients using the same service, which is normally the case for omnichannel services. And then what happens is that you need to replicate the same logic on each of the client platforms. And not only does that become expensive to implement and to maintain, but it also means that it's really, really hard to make sure that the logic is the same in all the different clients or channels. So the conclusion is, put as much logic as possible on the server side and create lightweight, functional, omnichannel front-end services. Thank you.